Hey look, I got lights again. Lots of people ask me what I use to film my videos. I just bought a lighting set for like $30 or $40 on Amazon, and I bought this mic for like $15 on Amazon. I edit on Premiere Elements. That is one of the most frequently asked questions on my channel, and that's what we're doing this week. All of the most frequently asked questions, and some that I just wanted to answer even though only like 2 people asked them, I'm gonna cover in this video. Let's jump in. How do you throw high while keeping the nose down? I'm sorry you had to see that. That was, I thought it would be funny, but I was very mistaken. Sorry. Anyway, how do you throw higher while keeping the nose down? So generally my advice for keeping the nose down is to reach back low and follow through high. That's because the cause of nose up is generally a high reach back and a low follow through that kind of dips the disc and sends it like that. But if you reach back low and follow through high, it flattens everything out. To throw higher while keeping the nose down, you take that whole plane and angle it. That's going to keep that flat pull while still throwing high. Now, nose down isn't relative to the ground, it's relative to the trajectory that the disc is throwing. So if the disc is on this angle and it's flying this way, straight that way, it's nose up. But if it's flying up here, it's nose down. Now, if it's like this and it's flying up here, then it's nose up, but also the disc is vertical, so it's not going forwards at all. That's a different issue. How does the disc stay on the same angle? This next question I thought was kind of cool. Somebody said, if I reach back here and my hand's on the bottom of the disc, I'm setting the disc on what you call a hyzer angle. And then I bring it over here, my hand's on the bottom of the disc. This is an anhyzer angle. How does that happen? My hand's on the bottom of the disc in both situations. Why is it a hyzer over here but an anhyzer over here? And this is a geometry question. So if you remember geometry, there are planes and lines and everything, but I'm only concerned with planes right now. So if you imagine the plane around the disc, you want to set that plane and not let it change. If you set the plane here with your hand on the bottom of the disc and you pull it straight, the disc doesn't change the angle and your hand goes from the bottom here to the top here, because the disc is on that angle, and the act of your hand whipping around to the top is what generates a lot of that power. I think I was curling my wrist a little bit there. That's not, you don't want to do that when you're driving, but still that's sort of the idea of keeping the disc on a plane. If you go from here and you're rounding and you're taking the disc off that plane, you're going to end up taking that whole plane and then rotating it around your body, and that's what causes the difference in angles. Should I work on power or accuracy? So the typical question, should I work on power or accuracy? It seems like we can either go out to the field and throw all of our discs as far as we can, or we can try and play a wooded course or try and land them exactly where we want to. The thing is, power and accuracy go hand in hand. They come with better form. If I'm throwing far, it's because I'm pulling the disc straight into this power pocket here and generating that power. And if I'm pulling the disc straight across, it's going to be going accurately. If I'm pulling the disc straight, it's going to go straight and it's going to be very accurate. So they go hand in hand. Improve form rather than improving one over the other. How do I engage my lower body in the throw? So how to engage the lower body in the throw? This is a very common question. People say they have a solid upper body, but they just can't get their lower body into it. And the answer is almost always in the stance. You need to have a closed stance at the end of your shot. That means your toes are closer together than your heels, at least when your front foot touches down. So a common mistake is to turn the left foot backwards as you X-step, which turns you this way. And then your front foot is angled towards the target because you're moving that way, so you have to turn around and catch yourself, and you end up with an open stance. And when you're in this open stance, your hips don't have any mobility. But if you keep your left foot sideways as you X-step like this rather than like this, you can have your front foot planted. I don't know how to teach with not holding a disc. This is confusing. You can have, this is really awkward, you can have your front foot planted like this, so your toes are closer together than your heels. That will give you that range of motion out of your hips. So to engage your lower body in the throw, turn your front foot away, plant it on the ball of your foot and offset to the left. Also shift your weight a little bit over your toes, and you'll feel that lower body, that left leg engage in the throw. No, say it's not so. Is Paul McBeth rounding? And the last question, the reason you're here, the reason you clicked on this video is because of the title, is Paul McBeth rounding? Typical rounding is when somebody is reaching across their body as they reach back, here, and then as they throw, they rotate their shoulders in front of the disc, And this joint here, this shoulder joint between the collarbone and the humerus here, this gets below 90 degrees. This is rounding. You can stand with a disc right here where the disc is at this angle is at 90 degrees or greater, and you're not rounding. You can spin in a circle like this and you won't be rounding. So that is the technical description of rounding. You can check out CBass22's channel on YouTube if you want to find more information on that. I'll link that in the description. So when Paul McBeth throws, if you grab a freeze frame in the right spot, you can see him with the disc towards the left side of his body. And if you quick check this angle here, it's tighter than 90 degrees. It's not what we're looking for, but it's Paul McBeth. He's a 4-time world champion. There's no way he's rounding, right? He's not. To find out why, we have to go back in time. I've linked some videos in the description of Paul McBeth throwing, and he's pulling straight. You can see he's got this angle here, nice and 90 degrees, and he's pulling into the power pocket and pulling straight through. And only in the later years has he sort of developed this new style of throwing. This new style is known as a wide rail, and this is definitely a walk before you can run type situation. I wouldn't recommend anyone goes out and tries to learn a wide rail. It's something that sort of develops naturally. You can try and incorporate it, but you're just going to get really frustrated. You can throw plenty far with a straight pull, and if you're not throwing 500-foot hyzers with stilettos, you probably are just fine pulling straight. Anyway, what he's doing is, rather than going straight back and then straight through all the way to the release, he's going a little bit wide. He doesn't turn his shoulders that much. A little bit wide, and then he pulls in here and he snaps it out here. This creates a little bit of a pendulum swing as he throws, and it generates more power. Generally, it's better for people with a smaller frame, whereas the longer throwers can reach across their body, create the power pocket here, and snap the disc over there. That's sort of the opposite of that. That's like what James Conrad does. Will Shoestrick does that. It creates that pendulum in the other direction. It's just another way to add power. But again, if you're not throwing 500-foot hyzer with stilettos, you don't really need to be worried about that. So thanks for watching this video. Huge shout out to my patrons on Patreon. Thank you so much. I give away discs on there. This is a Trilogy Challenge musket I can give away. I have patrols. I have a Team Prototype Fuji I can give away. I give away discs every week on there, so definitely jump on there and support me. I really appreciate it. I have a new logo. My old logo was designed by my buddy Forrest, who lives in Conway, and one of the graphic designers at Dynamic Discs offered to update it, and I said sure, and it looks really good. So I'm getting this stamped on a bunch of discs. They'll be here in a couple of weeks. Make sure you watch my Facebook page for those, and I think that's it. Thanks for watching, y'all, and until next time, remember, slow is smooth and smooth is far. Almost got this one over the thumb. Over the thumb is king. What are you doing? Over the back. That one's harder. One of these days. I can see you. Ace.